Hi, I'm Daci Pucci, this is the Elektron Digitakt, and here come the breaks. The drum break from the Winston song Amen Brother, also known as the Amen break, is the most sampled piece of music. And if you produce electronic music of any kind, chances are high you already have or at some point will use this drum break. So today I'll try to find out how well Elektron's Digitakt handles the task. Before we import the Amen break to Digitakt, let's prepare it with Ableton. Okay, here's my Amen break. I changed the tempo to the tempo of my track. It's 170 BPM, and I changed the warp mode to repitch. Now the drum beat is not only faster, but it's played at a higher pitch, just the way that an old school sampler would do. Nice. So now I will slightly correct the timing and make sure all the snares are at the correct position. And now I will chop up the sample into different slices of 1 beat length by using the shortcut Command E. And I make sure all the slices have the same size. I've sliced up my Amen break. Now I'll bounce the individual pieces to audio, name them Amen 1, Amen 2, etc. and export them to Digitakt with the transfer tool by Elektron. So now I've imported the Amen break slices to Digitakt, created a new pattern, named it Amen, and set the tempo of the pattern to 85 BPM, which is exactly the half of the 170 BPM drum loop that we exported. I will now select sample 1 on pad 1, and if I now place a sample on every second step, I get a seamless loop again. If I want different samples to play at the individual trigs, I just use parameter locks by holding and selecting Amen 2, Amen 3, and so on. So now we have the original Amen break again. Okay, now I will rearrange the beat by selecting different samples for the trigs with parameter locks. Okay, let's take a listen. Okay, this is now more of a jungle beat already. So now let's make things even more interesting by introducing additional steps between the odd steps that we need to have a seamless loop. I start with step 2 and add Amen 7, which in this case is a little drum roll. But I don't want that to play all the time, so I will use parameter locks and set a probability of, let's say, 19%. So now there's a 19% chance of this for this sound to be triggered. And let's perhaps try to use retrig on this one, like 1/64th. It's a bit fiddly in it. And set down the velocity a bit, and let's listen to that. Yeah, I like that. That sounds pretty nice. Okay, so let's add another step. Step 4, and select a sample. And on this one, let's try to play it on reverse. Yeah, I like that a lot. So let's add another conditional lock with a probability of 25% to make things more interesting. Okay, another step here. And let's reverse this one too. And again, how about 25%? Okay, things are getting a bit more random, so it's more interesting now. Let's add another step. It's on step 10. Don't want this to play all the time, so this time as a conditional lock, I'll just say play it 1 out of 3 times. So now it was played, and it will skip the next 2 cycles, and now it will play again. There we are. Okay, let's load something to step number 14 as well, and listen. Okay, I don't want that to play all the time, so let's use a conditional trig and say this plays only 1 out of 2 cycles, like this. Very nice. So now let's use a conditional trig on step number 15 and say whenever step number 14 plays, step number 15 does not play. For this we use the pre with the line on top of it. Where is it? Ah, there we go. Let's listen. Okay, now we have a little gap on step number 16 every time step number 14 is played, every second cycle, because we have this conditional lock on 15 that says don't play 15 whenever 14 is played. And as the slices are only 2 of these beats long, there is a gap at pattern at step 16. So now let's place a sample on pad 16 as well. Okay, now this is playing all the time. I only want this to be played when 14 is triggered every second cycle, hence 15 is not triggered because of the conditional lock. And if that happens, I want this one to play to fill up the gap, because when 14 is not triggered, there is no gap. So let's again use a conditional trig. This time we use the pre without the line above, and that basically means this will only happen when this happens, this conditional lock happens. So when this is triggered every second cycle, this is not triggered because of the conditional lock, and this is triggered because of that conditional lock. Yeah, that worked out nice. So now we have a pretty interesting breakbeat going on, just occupying 1 track. There's still 7 other available on the Digitakt, and there's some randomness in it, and there's some variation in it. Okay, so now just for fun, let's add a 808 bassline to give it more of that old school jungle flavor. Conditional trig here to let's play that at like every second time. there you have it. That was my aim and break workout on the Elektron Digitakt. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up or a comment, subscribe to my channel, or become a patron. Thanks for watching, see you soon.